W-I-S-C-O-N-S-I-N.
We welcome all of y'all amongst some friends.
W-I-S-C-O-N-S-I-N.
Heavy snowfall, blizzards never end.
W-I-S-C-O-N-S-I-N.
It's the place we call home and the tundra begins.
W-I-S-C-O-N-S-I-N.
And if y'all didn't hear me, I'ma say it again.
W-I-S-C-O-N-S-I-N.
We welcome all of y'all amongst some friends.
W-I-S-C-O-N-S-I-N.
Heavy snowfall, blizzards never end.
What is up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. It's the Matt Ramage Show, you know what I mean? I'm over here solo this evening. We're going to talk about my draft experience. We can talk about the draft. You can hammer the comments and talk about whatever you want to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. But, yeah, I definitely want to talk about this draft. This draft was so fun. Like, I don't think I've ever had this much fun at anything ever. Like, this was like the coolest thing that's ever happened. But before we get into that, let's talk about some sponsors real quick. And I got a lot to talk about, you know what I mean? But I also, before I get into that, I want to say Known Vandals is that intro that I had. I might play it again like in the middle when more people are in here, because I want people to see this. I want you to go check out this YouTube video. But before we get into all of that, 'cause we got some stuff, be sure to hammer the chat. And I appreciate everyone who's listening on the podcast, on the audio version, you know, Apple, Spotify, all the places that people listen to podcasts. You can listen to that there if you're watching over on YouTube, Facebook, all the other places. But before, you know, let's talk about that real quick. This episode is fueled by Quick Trip, the official gas station of cheeseheads on the go. Whether you're grabbing Glazer's squeaky cheese or just need a pit stop on the way to Lambeau, Quick Trip's gotcha. Big thanks to them for sponsoring the chaos. You know what I mean? Big shout out to Quick Trip, you know what I mean? And also quick shout out to Nicolay Law for supporting the show. If you've been in a car accident or something unexpected comes up and leaves you injured, these are the folks you'll want in your corner. They're based right here in the Midwest, and they know how to deal with insurance companies. And they actually care about getting you what's fair. No upfront fees, no confusing lawyer talk, just real people helping real people. Head over to nicolaylaw.com and check them out. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. And I got to hang out with Russell Nicolay a little bit. Big shout out to him. Dude, that guy is so cool, so fun to talk to. Just a regular guy. So big shout out to Nicolay Law. He does a great job, and all his crew does an amazing job. They had a cool tent over there. They were giving away hats. They were giving away, like, koozies. They were giving away all types of stuff, you know what I mean? So if you walked by the tent, you knew. So shout out to them, you know what I mean? So let's check out the chat a little bit. Not a lot going on over here. But all right, so let's talk about this draft a little bit. I got to do like some really cool stuff over at this draft. I got to I was on WBAY, Channel 2, a local channel here in Green Bay in Wisconsin, you know, this corner of the world. Then I was on WIXX, chatting up with those folks over at Stadium View. And then WFRV, that was a little bit later. You know, I had a few beers in me for that, so that was pretty cool. But we got a chat over here. Damon Taylor, what is up? I work with him. $9.99, baby. You know what I mean? That's gonna hit that vending machine at work. Pair character jumping up and down, saying number one fan. I'm not sure what you mean right there. A big shout out to Damon. So Damon, he was telling me, like, he was in like the stage area, and he has a video on his phone where he got to, you know, Roger Goodell came right up, signed his son's hat. He had Jordy Nelson over there. People who were like right up by the stage. I didn't stay by the stage the whole time because I have to pee a lot, you know what I mean? So like I was walking around. I spent a lot of time at Stadium View. Stadium View absolutely rocked it. They had huge screens to watch the draft. They had beer tents. They had food tents. I think Stadium View absolutely nailed it. There, like, everyone was doing stuff down there, all the bars, but Stadium View, they had 16 bands in those 3 days. Absolutely awesome. Ask Your Mother band. I wish I had like all the other bands to shout them out. But I don't know all the names of those bands. But every band that I saw was just phenomenal. Stadium View had a lineup like no other. It was absolutely fantastic. Big shout out to Damon. What's up, Joey? Said beers were cheap. Yeah, that's the thing about Stadium View. The beers were like half the price they were at inside the little draft area. You know what I mean? So that was awesome. All right, so let's talk about this and keep hammering the chat. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk about like Jair Alexander or whatnot, but I do want to talk about just the stuff that I got to do. All right, so WBAY. Let's talk about that. Like Thursday morning, WBAY, they're like, hey, you want to come on? My guy Emerson, you know what I mean? He said, come on down. It was like 5:30 in the morning. So like right away, like I was worried about the parking situation because I didn't really know what was going on down there. So I was there early. I was there at like 4:30 in the morning, and like I saw like that you're not supposed to park overnight, and they had like parking people. I was worried about I was gonna get towed. I'm like, I don't want to leave my truck. But I finally, I went down there, and it was early. My guy Kevin was with me. But I think I did all right, being on the news. It was cool talking about the draft. It's funny, like having people, have me come on. I'm like the least knowledgeable person about college players and a draft, but that was amazing. I think it was cool, like, cause like right where we were, there was like a little stage by, I think, what's it called? North Commons, I think it's called, right down there by Stadium View. And so like I was down there, we were doing the news or whatever, and like I walked away after I was done. I walked away for a little bit. Me and my friend Kevin went for a walk because it was still early. Like not a lot of people were around. People were trickling in and stuff. And we walked over to Quick Trip. Shout out. And but when we came back, like I don't know how long later, there was like a band playing. There were just jamming out. There was people everywhere. It was such a funny thing because it was all quiet in the morning. Because they were doing the news, and then there was just bands playing. But that is why, if people saw that video that I posted about the porta potties, like I had the porta potty cheat code. The reason I knew about those porta potties is because earlier when I was in the news, like I used them, but they were like off back in the corner. It's not like a really path to walk through. It was just kind of just a spot over there. So not a lot of people knew about them. So I had that porta potty cheat code. You know what I mean? So that was awesome. And then WIXX, dude. Let's talk about that. WXX, first of all, WXX is like one of the things that I kind of wanted to do ever since I've been doing this. WXX, I always comment on like their Facebook pages and whatnot, like for years. And I always thought it was cool that a few people from WXX followed me. And so it's always been like I wouldn't say a goal, but like something I was kind of hopeful, like someday might happen. Because that's a station I listened to when I was a kid. WXX has been around since forever. And so it's always been something that I kind of wanted to do. I thought it'd be cool to do. But then I was kind of tweaked out, because I was like, first of all, big shout out to Huffy and Natalie. I don't remember all their names, so that's horrible. But those two specifically are the ones I had talked to a lot, and they were just absolutely amazing. Made it really cool, made it really fun, because I was nervous. And so, like, going into it, I ran into my friend Alex Struff, ESPN Milwaukee. I was walking by, like, they rented out or however they got it, like a house right next to Lambeau Field. And that's where ESPN Milwaukee was, ESPN Chicago. There was ESPN everything was there. They were all doing their shows. And Alex Struff saw me, so he came over. And I was talking to him a little bit, and I was like, bro, I'm a little nervous about doing the radio. And I was only nervous because Natalie said, we're going to play a game. So I'm like, I was talking to Alex, and I was like, I'm a little nervous because she wants, they want to play a game. I was like, if it's trivia and I miss, I'm going to look stupid. I don't know if it's going to be trivia. And he's like, yeah, as a radio guy, it's definitely going to be trivia. And it was trivia. And I got 9 right. You know what I got wrong? I got Richard Rodgers. And they were like throwing it at me. They're like, hey, the last name is the same as a former quarterback. First name starts with an R. Like, easy. Everyone would get it. It was a 10th question. It was a final question. And my brain was like, no, we're done. We're going to give you 9. We're not having 10. But I still got a jersey. I should have brought it down here. I don't have it, but they gave me a WIXX jersey. And I love it. I'm going to save it forever. I thought it was absolutely amazing. The whole thing was so cool. It was cool that, like, people who see me, like, they wanted to stop, take pictures. Like, at games, people recognize me and they want to say hi or whatever, and which I think is so awesome. But like at the draft, it was like so severe. Like it was so awesome. And shout out to everyone who stopped to say hi and whatnot. That was like so freaking awesome. It was like the coolest thing ever. And then after that, I walked over to WFRV, chatted up with them, and that was cool because I think that was Tom Zalaski. I think that's his name. I might have got the name wrong. Hopefully not. I'm sure, pretty sure. But yeah, I've been watching him on the news like forever to like hang out and talk to them. that was pretty cool. I had a couple beers in me, you know what I mean, at that point. But I not too many because I knew what I was doing. I knew that I was doing the news. So Thursday, I kind of chilled out a little bit. But it was absolutely amazing. It was so fun. Everyone made it so cool, and everyone I've talked to, like that's all everyone was saying. It's like how like everyone just had a fun time. I saw videos of this dude. I saw a video. Shout out to Wisconsin clothing company. I think that who posted this. There was a dude that was sleeping on a table. I think it was at Stadium View, and he was sleeping on a table, and they're recording him and saying, "Hey, you know, this guy had it," and then all of a sudden, like it cuts to like they're like, "Yo, that's the same guy," and he was now he's eating a burger. I was like, dude, that dude from Wisconsin. You know, he got up, got a burger in him, and he went right back to drinking, I'm sure. But so shout out to that guy. All right, let's get to some comments over here. I'm over here yammering around. Usually I don't do these solo because solo it's kind of weird, but it's fun. I'm glad we got some people in the chat over here. I appreciate everyone chiming in over here. What is up, Matt Ramage says, Wendy. What is up, Wendy? How you doing? The food trucks were on point. That's the thing, dude. Stadium View, like they're not a sponsor or nothing. I just like Stadium View. They had so many food trucks. I actually, my cousin was working at one. I was talking to him a little bit, but there were so many food trucks, so much good food. They had some good burgers. They had all different like variations of stuff. I just got the burgers and whatnot because that's what I do. But there was beer vendors there. You didn't really have to wait for a beer, even though the place was absolutely packed. They had beer inside, they had beer outside, they had it set up, and the bands, like I say, were absolutely amazing. All right, so here we go. Vinny says, I like your hat. Yeah, this is the draft hat. I mean, people seeing because they watch the draft, but this is the hat the players all got that I'm wearing right here. And so I got that thing, you know, over at the pro shop. Do you think the Packers made all the necessary upgrades? I think the draft, the Packers had an amazing draft. I do. I got the draft picks. We can talk about that in a little bit. Like kind of go through them a little bit. I didn't look into all the players and watch. You know, I definitely ain't watching film, but I didn't really look into all the players. I think that the number one pick. We'll talk about that in a minute. That was an amazing pick. That and just the walkout, just the way Mark Murphy did it. It was absolutely amazing, but we'll get to that. But I'm not sure that they made all. I don't know that they have the draft picks to make all the necessary upgrades, but I think that they did as best as they could have done in this draft. And what I will do, I'm going to be hitting up some people, some smart folks, and we're going to have some folks come on here and talk about the draft, kind of go through these draft picks a little bit better than I'm able to do. But, yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy with the draft. What do y'all think? Let me know. Hammer the comments. What do y'all think? I mean, we don't have to give grades because I don't think grades are, you know, mean anything right now. But let me know what you think about this draft. You need a vacation to not forget about your family. That is a priority. Yeah, my family's upstairs. They're good. I appreciate that. But, yeah, never forget about the folks. You know what I mean? We go another one. What is your draft grade for Green Bay after this year's draft? Yeah, like I kind of said, like I don't really believe in draft grades, but like if I was gonna give him a draft grade, I mean I'm pretty biased, you know, I'm always pretty optimistic, but I would say at least a B. I think B is the worst. I would probably say A, but just because getting a wide receiver, you know, Christian Watson isn't going to be starting come beginning of the season. He's going to be hurt. I don't know when he's going to come back. And I'm not saying that Golden is going to replace Christian Watson, but he's definitely going to get an opportunity, right? And he's a very fast guy, right? That's what he's known for. I forget his speed, but he's very, very, very fast. And to just be able to take the top off of a defense is important, even if you don't throw the ball. That's what's important about Christian Watson, right? Is that he can run. MVS kind of did the same thing. He can run, not to compare MVS to any of these guys, but he can run past, and the defense has to respect that threat because if they're open and they throw it up top and they're open, that's a touchdown, right? So even doesn't matter if you throw it to him or not. If you got a speedy guy who can get past everyone, they got to respect it, and that opens up a lot of stuff underneath. So having a fast guy, he's going to get the opportunities. People talk about QB1 or wide receiver 1 in Green Bay, and like, you know, remember last year, like we don't have a wide receiver 1, we don't need one. I think some of us might have been wrong about that. You know what I mean? But just having a guy with speed, and Golden's going to get the opportunities, and if he has what it takes, he's going to be the wide receiver 1. He's going to have all the opportunities in the world. And if he comes out, balls out, him and Jordan Love link up together, everything works out. Golden could pop off right out the gate. We will see. You know me. I'm optimistic, so I think Golden's going to be the next Devontae Adams. But we need to calm down right out the gate. But also, why? Let's have some fun. All right. I one arrest, 600,000 attendees. That was amazing. That's the thing. I seen that there was one arrest, and I've seen other numbers that were but every number I've seen was under 10, and I think one is the one that I've seen the most. So I don't know the exact number, but one arrest is amazing. But let me tell you this about the security that was over at in the draft area. Like I was at Stadium View a lot, and you could see snipers on the roof at the buildings surrounding, right? And then I seen videos and pictures. There were snipers on Lambeau Field. There were snipers all the because it's a big event, it's a huge event. They got to keep us safe. And then you see I was leaving Stadium View one night, and there was just National Guard, whatever they were, Marines. They were wearing fatigues. I don't know. I'm not a military person. I don't know what they were, but I think just having that presence around keeps a lot of drunk people might want to fight. Maybe they're all right, let's scale it back a little bit. We got fatigues and rifles over here, so let's just chill out. I don't know if that was it, but everyone I seen at the draft was just having a good time. I didn't see anyone try to get rowdy at all, and I'm sure it happened in little bits and pieces, but everyone was just having fun. We were hanging out with Viking fans, every fan base, all hanging out, drinking beers, having a good time together. It was amazing. But Green Bay absolutely killed it. Green Bay absolutely dominated this draft. And I know Lion fans are chirping. First of all, that is the most little brother thing ever. We had more people. Yeah, well, you have 4 million people living in your city. I don't know the exact number who lives in Detroit, but if everyone went outside and went to the draft, first of all, your number is low. For Lion fans who are chirping, first of all, I don't care about next year when the Steelers have the draft, if it's a bigger number or a smaller number than Green Bay, I won't even remember. I won't care because I think it's silly to compare. First of all, cities are smaller. Green Bay is small, and they had 600,000 people throughout the weekend, and I'm not sure how they get that exact number because they weren't really checking the code you had on your phone from the NFL app. So, but they figure out the numbers how they figure them out. But I just think that Green Bay was small, and you 100,000, and then obviously there's surrounding areas there's the Pier, there's Schwabenheim, there's all the alleyways, there's all these little, but it's still Green Bay. I don't know how they figure it out, how that all works, but so that's a little bit bigger. But the amount of people, 600,000 people, there's so many people coming from out of state that were here in Detroit. I feel with how many people live there, they should have had that many. They should have had more than that. I feel that was kind of weak, honestly, Detroit. But I don't care about the number. But it was good. Nobody was rowdy. Nobody was getting in fight. Nobody was causing a problem that I've seen anyways. I wasn't everywhere. But with one arrest, they're saying absolutely amazing. Good job, Green Bay. And shout out to everyone the people who are keeping us safe. I seen vans and soldiers, or I don't know what you call them, the National Guard, whatever they are, but just their presence I think helped keep everyone in check, keep everyone safe. So it was awesome that Green Bay did it so well. Everyone had a blast. Everyone was safe, and nothing crazy happened. No stories of whatever, and it was awesome. Let's get to some more comments here. Thank you so much for taking a picture, Matt. Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate you stopping to chat. Dude, that was the amazing part. The people that stopped and and hung out a little bit, talked, took a picture or whatever. That made me feel so great. That very humbling and really, really, really awesome. I can't say enough. It made me feel like a superstar, honestly. But I appreciate all of you. You're on the fence again, yeah. So everyone who doesn't know, there's where the fence was right across the street from Fox 11 near Lambeau Field over on Lombardi. That fence is gone, but they got a new fence up. I'm on that, and big shout out to everyone on that. The Drew Cave's on there. Senor Chasehead, Ryan Rubel's on it again. There's a lot of other Big B's on it. There's a lot of good people on there. Check it out if you're in Green Bay area. And throughout the season, I assume it's going to stay there. I don't know. I didn't ask, but I assume it's going to be there for a while. So shout out to that. I think it's cool that there's a lot of cool Packer fans on there, and I'm honored to be on that thing. That's absolutely amazing. What's up, Wendy? I'm super jelly, but so excited you got to experience so much. Dude, we got to experience everything. And then on Saturday, I was there with my wife, my son, his girlfriend, their family. they were there. We hung out with them. The Saturday was amazing. Saturday was really fun. Thursday and Friday were like were like crazy with like just the bands and like especially Thursday because I did so much. I did the radio and the news shows. Like that was just so that was just so amazing. But Saturday was cool, just hanging out with family and having a good time. Shout out to Joey, you know what I mean? Joey Kumaro, you know what I mean? People know who he is. He's awesome. Donnie says, what's up, Matt? Looks like you had an awesome time. Wish I could have been there. Looked epic. You think Jair is staying? Excited for upcoming season. Lots of weapons on offense. I appreciate the comment, Donnie. Do I think Jair is staying? That's a good question because I don't think he is. I don't know. My opinion kind of is changing now, right? Because everyone that I've talked to or like read on Twitter, the reports, is that here's what I heard. I wouldn't say heard, but like read on Twitter is throughout this, this whole thing with Jair is that he was practicing during the week, those weeks, right? Last season, but then he wasn't good to play. And a lot of people are saying, which I have no clue. I have no insight. I have no inside information. But they're saying is that the Packers thought he could have played and he just didn't play. And not because I don't think he was just like, I'm not playing, but he was saying I'm still hurt and I'm not ready. And I think that's where like the thing is. But Jair Alexander, when he's on the field, the Packers defense is phenomenally better. Like when he's healthy. And that's the thing, too, that he hasn't been healthy. You're paying him a lot of money. So I think that is where a lot of that comes from the Packers, too. Because from what I understand, the Packers are still trying to trade him. The Packers still plan on moving on from him. But then Rob Demoski, right? Shout out to Rob. He says that now they're talking. Now maybe there's a chance that he does stay on the team this year. So I feel like they were going one way, saying, hey, absolutely not. Right? That's the reports. And now they're saying, hey, maybe. But they were saying like Jair Alexander was participating in off-season programs. I don't know if that's through Zoom or what they were doing, what those programs were. But I think he's into being a Packer. So I think he still wants to be a Packer. And maybe they can figure this thing out. I hope he is. I hope that he's a Packer. If Jair Alexander is a Packer next season and he stays healthy, this Packers defense is going to be nasty. But that's a big if because if he's not there, that cornerback room gets a little depleted because, man, he's so good, right? He's such a good cornerback. So, like, if they can figure it out and hopefully he's healthy. I don't know his injury situation as it stands today. Is he completely healthy? I think he is. I don't know for sure. But definitely with him on the team, they're a better football team. So I think it's in their best interest and his, too, I think, to figure this thing out. You know what I mean? So we will see. We have another comment here. Here we go. Okay, that's the same comment. All right, so let's go. All right, these are tough sometimes. Deb says, Clay Matthews made my night. Let's talk about that. I should have had that clip ready so I could put it up here. But everyone's seen it, obviously. Clay Matthews kind of making that joke. I actually didn't see it like when it happened, when the draft started. I was somewhere. I was watching on TV, but the volume was because it was the beginning. It was kind of glitchy or whatever. But Clay Matthews, dude, that saying the Bears still suck, that whole thing he read. So the president says, whatever, this and that. Bears still suck. That was amazing. And Rollins, too. Let's talk about that for the Bears. Making those jokes about Caleb Williams is undefeated at Lambeau Field. That is what's supposed to happen, right? That's what they're supposed to do. So everyone when it talks about this and that, whatever, like, dude, this is what the rivalry is, and that just like when Pat McAfee was on the draft, how many years ago that was when he was taking shots at Tennessee Titans. That's what I think is beautiful about the draft. Everyone kind of comes up and takes shots at their rivals. Dude, I love the Bears rivalry. I love it. I love all the rivalries. But the Packer-Bear rivalry is so awesome. I thought Rollins, what he was saying was hilarious too. But I love that Clay Matthews came out and kind of started the draft off, kind of put everything on point, was like, hey, Bears still suck, and kind of started that thing off the right way. It was awesome. I love the rivalry. I love what Rollins said. I love all of it. I love the trash talk. You know what I mean? Let's get ruined. Deb says, Clay. Oh, yeah. Why do I keep doing that in the same comments? One Bad Llama says, or intercepted by the Vikings. All right. Viking fans are in the building. Green Bay is a fine football city. That's a good hoodie I got. So speaking of that, dude, my merch is I got some great merch. Even if you haven't got a draft day hoodie yet, you can still get it. We got hoodies, we got shirts. We have a Green Bay shirt. It's kind of like Paps. You know what I mean? It's a fine football city. Let me crack this beer real quick though. You know what I mean? Be talking too much. But Pabst Light, it's a new beer. They're not a sponsor, but you know what I mean. Let's see what happens. But this is a fine beer. It's really good. Let me get a drink real quick. That's the thing when you're doing these things solo. You just be yammering away. You don't got time to take a drink. Let's keep these comments rolling here. Brandon says, "I bet it comes back." You mean he? You mean Jair? You think Jair's coming back? I kind of am leaning that way now. But a week ago I didn't think there was any chance, just from everything I was reading and seeing on the internet. But all right, so we got another one. I was there early Friday repping my new white MR hoodie. Green Bay is a fine football city. That is awesome. I appreciate you, Ty. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? I appreciate everyone who buys my merch and represents it, dude. That when I see someone wearing my merch, dude, it's so awesome. I don't think I've seen anyone at the draft wearing draft day hoodies, but or shirts, but I sold some, so I don't know. I don't know where they're wearing them, but maybe I just didn't see them. But shout out to everyone who's copping that merch, you know what I mean? If you want to get that merch, it's themattramage.com. You can find the link to my store right there. One Bad Llama says, what's your NFC North ranking so far? Of course, Vikings at 1, so I'll leave you to decide 2 through 4. Dude, I know the Packers are the best team in the NFC North, dude. That no question about it. And the Lions are going to be number 2. Vikings will be number 3, and the Bears will be where they belong at number 4, and forever. And dude, we're going to talk about this a lot this offseason, but what Ben, what's his name? Ben, the old Bears head coach over there, Ben Johnson. I don't know. The names elude me because he's nobody. But I see Matt LaFleur was on some podcasts. He was talking about the comments he made about looking forward to beating Matt LaFleur, you know, this year again. First of all, dude, like he acts like he had some long stretch of dominating the Packers. You know what I mean? And he wasn't even the head coach. So I don't know. He was just trying to get Bears fans riled up. Bears fans are very easy. Whenever a head coach or any type of coach or player is added to the Bears, I think the PR people say, hey, go out there and take a shot at the Packers. That's what you have to do. That's part of the contract. It's in the contract. You got to take a shot at the Packers, and they always do, and it's cringy. And then in 3 years when he's fired and he's coaching the Browns or something, then we can all laugh about it. But, yeah, Bears suck. But Vikings, they don't have a quarterback, so I don't know. Vikings have a good team, but except for the quarterback. They don't have a quarterback, you know what I mean? So I don't know what's going to go on there. Let's get to another one. What is up, Nate? He said, they make millions. Can we finally get a Super Bowl in Green Bay? We prove we can do it, and the Super Bowl would be great in the snow of the frozen tundra. Go, Maddie, go. I appreciate the comment, Nate. Dude, that's actually a good point that I've seen a lot of people talking about. Could the Packers ever host a Super Bowl? I still say no. I don't think that they will. But I feel like that it proved that it's kind of a possibility, but not really. I don't know that they're ready yet as far as hotels go, because Super Bowl is different than the draft. Draft, a lot of people showed up. People were driving from Milwaukee. They had a lot of shuttles going on. They had a lot of stuff, a lot of ways for people to go. And that same thing could happen for the Super Bowl. And I would love it. I think Green Bay could do it. I just don't think the NFL would let that happen because it's a big money grab, you know. And obviously that's why they do this. So I just think that there's not enough hotels, but maybe things change the next 10, 20 years and Green Bay can do it. I'm not, a lot of people are saying that the Green Bay will never even get a draft again or not in the next 30 years. So I would be doubtful that the Super Bowl would ever be played in Green Bay, but I do think the Packers or the Green Bay could handle it, but not really. You know what I mean? I think it'd be very tough because the Super Bowl is a whole different story. Everyone goes to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is insane. I'm not sure they can handle it as far as hotels where people stay, because people are staying far away and stuff, and they have hotels in Green Bay, obviously, in the surrounding areas. But Super Bowl is that's the big boy stuff. I'm doubtful that happens anytime soon. But let's get to that one. Greg, what's up? He goes, hello, Matt from Strawberry Plains. I contacted you via text and email. Feel free to contact me at your convenience. Yeah, I will definitely check that out. I didn't see that yet. Yeah, but so everyone knows, I'm going to be doing starting a call-in show, like doing voicemails and whatnot. I only got one, and I was gonna play it today, but it's not working out on my the way I wanted to do it on my computer. But I did order a sound machine, so I could put all the voicemails that I get for the call-in show into the sound machine and play them real easy, so that way I'm not it sounds good and everything is good on that. But I'll definitely hit you back up, Greg. I'll look for that. But we go. Kevin says Eric Warrior Sweat. Oh yeah, Eric. You know, big shout out to Eric Rassak, lead singer at Ashton Mother Band. He was rocking the draft day hoodie a little bit. Not while he was performing, because he was like, getting sweaty and whatnot, because he was out there performing. Dude, I'll say, dude, he is so good at what he does. Ashton Mother Band is so good. Not just him. Dude, I have so many pictures. His I wish I knew his name, but I don't remember it off my head. But he was so good. His guitar player over there was just rocking out, and I was in front row, so it was just like right there. He was like, dude, I actually found I have a newfound like love for like watching bands. I think I'm gonna go watch more bands. I'm not a big concert guy because I don't like huge crowds all the time. I mean, like at Lambeau Field, you go to games, I usually don't even sit in the seats. I usually go at standing room only because I like to be able to like move around and whatnot. But those bands were phenomenal, and I definitely want to go check out some more bands. That was so fun. But Tony says, "What's up, Matt? Watching from dude, that's a tough one. I mean, I'm from Wisconsin my whole life. Watching from Wega, Wisconsin. Is that what that is? I don't think I've ever heard of that place. I might have to go check it out. I apologize. Now I feel like I lost my Wisconsin card over here, because I don't think I've ever heard of that spot. But I appreciate you tuning in, Tony. Appreciate the comment. Andrew says, plus the weather is a major factor for a Super Bowl. Yeah, that's the thing, because it's not the thing about having a Super Bowl in Green Bay or any Midwest type of place. Like they did it obviously in like Detroit, but it's not just the game, snow, being snowed on and being snowed out, whatever. It's people getting there. Like if it snows, like in Green Bay, February, man, we get some snow up here. So if it would happen where we got a blizzard or some kind of big snowstorm right before, and the roads are closed, and like people really couldn't get in safely, and cars were in the ditch, the highway was just highway just full of cars in the ditch, and no one could get there, like that would be horrible. So that's, I think, is a huge factor. Not just that there's no dome. It's people getting there. People talk about that with like the Bills games, right? And they're like, oh, what? They should just build a dome. Then they won't have to cancel games. Well, yeah, but people still got to get there. I think that's the biggest factor, is can you get there safely? They don't want their fans sitting in a ditch on the side of the highway while the game's being played. So I think that's a big point of having any games over here. Let's get. It's by Wapaka. All right, it's by Wapaka. There you go. Shout out, dude. That's the thing, dude. I want to start doing like this summer. I'm gonna start visiting like different towns in Wisconsin, because I don't really branch out enough. You know what I mean? I want to start doing videos and highlighting like cool spots in Wisconsin. Also, local businesses making like the Instagram, TikTok type of videos and stuff. And but not just like the businesses, but like just find cool little small towns. I think small towns in Wisconsin are like the coolest thing. They always have like, they'll be like, you'll visit some town in Wisconsin, and they'll just be like a rock. Like, yeah, this rock was part of this thing, and it's been here for a million years since we got here. No one's ever moved it. Or like just some cool thing. So I definitely want to do that. Check out. I gotta go to Wapaka. You know what I mean? Wapaka got anything cool? I gotta start flourishing around Wisconsin a little bit. Visit some of these small towns. We got, was this McKay? It's hard for me to read that one. Why are people making a big deal between the attendance of the draft between Green Bay and Detroit? I have no idea. It's Detroit. That's what it is. It's Lions fans. They have never won anything in their life. Now they're kind of relevant. Everyone's talking about them, and they still suck. They're still not winning anything. All right, you're really fun to watch during the season. Everyone gets excited. Lion fans get all chirpy. And then they just fail and nothing happens. So then they're like, well, at least we had the most people at a draft. I'm not sure I've ever heard anyone count the attendance at a draft. Or like, not that no one counts, but like no one bragged about it. No city I've ever heard talk about it. Like I say, next year, if the Steelers have less people than the Packers, I'm not going to care. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to be like, well, last year. Like, it's stupid to me. It's weird. You know what I mean? They're trying to overcompensate. Like, ours is bigger than yours. You know what I mean? That's just, it's weird. I believe it's pronounced Wayuega. Okay, Wayuega. All right, there you go, Andrew, trying to help me out here. Wayuega. All right, Wayuega, Wisconsin. Shut up. You know what I mean? Where do you think Dillon stands? AJ Dillon, he's an Eagle. He's an Eagle over there in Philadelphia. He signed with him. I think that's a good spot for him though. I think he's gonna do well. I love me some AJ Dillon. But yeah, he's over in Philly. I think that's a good spot. We'll see how he does. And AJ Dillon, when he's done playing, he's gonna come back. He's gonna be a big part of the community. He's gonna, he lives in Wisconsin, over in, king of Door County. I love Door County, by the way. He got the key over there. So when his playing days are over, he's gonna come back. You're gonna see him at all the Packer tours. You're gonna see him like you've seen a lot of Packer players. Jordy Nelson. Dude, I heard a story. I think it was my friend Damon was talking about this. Is that like Jordy Nelson had more security around him than like Roger Goodell, just because not because people they thought he was gonna hurt him, but everyone loves Jordy Nelson. Everyone wants a piece of Jordy Nelson. Jordy Nelson is like he could walk on water in Green Bay. He's gonna be forever one of the most loved Packers. I think AJ Dillon's gonna kind of go the same route differently. Obviously Jordy Nelson. I'm not trying to compare him because I think Jordy Nelson is one of the great players of our time. Not to say anything about AJ Dillon, but you know what I mean. I love AJ Dillon as well, but Jordy Nelson is just such a fan favorite. But so is AJ Dillon. But yeah, I think there's certain players that are always gonna come back, like Donald Driver. There's so many players that people will love forever, and I think AJ Dillon represents the Packers and the Green Bay community. Awesome. Let's get to some more. We got Tony said we have 3 cheese factories. So that should be right up your alley. All right, there you go. You know what I mean? I like my cheese factories. I work at a cheese factory. I think it's funny because whenever people know, like, I work at a cheese factory, like, oh, it's so cool you work at a cheese factory. I'm like, it's not. I like cheese and all that, but I've worked over 20 years, you know what I mean? I want to retire and do this full time. But, yeah, we got to have the cheese factory, so you know what I mean? But here we go. Known Vandals. Pop it in. Is Wayawega. Okay, it's Wayawega. Oh, that's good. Just giving you your Wisco card back, homie. I appreciate it. So if people were just tuning in, I'm gonna play a little clip. Speaking of that, I played it on the intro. Some people might not have been here. Known Vandals. All right, they have a Wisconsin song, Wisconsin. And it's over on YouTube. The description is the link is in the description for the music video over on YouTube. You can also search Known Vandals right there. It's on your screen. And it'll pop right up on their page. And be sure to subscribe to them. But I'm going to play a small little teaser for you. I'm in this music video, and I got a shout-out on it. And let me know what you think. So I'm going to play this real quick. First of all, let me take this comment off so you can see the whole video. Or not the whole thing, because it's just a little clip. But, all right, here we go, and then we'll talk about it.
WISCONSIN.
We welcome all of y'all amongst some friends.
WISCONSIN.
Heavy snowfall, blizzards never end.
WISCONSIN.
It's the place we call home and the tundra begins.
WISCONSIN.
And if y'all didn't hear me, I'ma say it again.
WISCONSIN.
We welcome all of y'all amongst some friends.
WISCONSIN.
Heavy snowfall.
All right, so that was the intro, so I should have had the clip ready by itself. But, dude, shout out to them, dude. It's a great song. You can check it out over on all the places that you listen to music. It's on Apple Music. It's on Spotify, I believe. It's on all the places. So the link is in the description if you want to go watch that whole thing. Yeah, it's a Wisconsin. Yeah, so I said it wrong. My apologies. But it's a great song. You know what I mean? Who doesn't love supporting Wisconsin? You know what I mean? It's a great song. I'm in the music video, so go check out the video. Glad to hear about the Alexander news. Yeah, we will see what happens with Jair Alexander. You know what I mean? Just talk real quick about like what I think is going to come up in this coming season. Going into training camp, I'm excited about this offense. I'm excited. I think Jordan Love coming, he's not going to be injured coming off that injury. He had 2 injuries last year. A lot of drops by the wide receivers as well. The passing game has to be better. They drafted a top-notch wide receiver. Romeo Doubs is still doing his thing. He has that concussion problem. Hopefully that's not going to be an issue because, not even just for his playing days, but even after that, you have too many concussions. It could be a real issue for you. Wicks, I think, is going to be a dude. They have some guys. They have to catch the ball. They have to spread the ball around. Josh Jacobs, this running game, I think is good. This offense should be better than it was last year. That's what I'll say, and it needs to be, and I think it will be. I think it will be this coming up season. Like I say, hopefully, knock on wood about injuries. I don't have any. I don't know if I have wood around here, but I don't know if that's wood. That seems like wood. It's painted, but it's still wood. Yeah, so I think injuries is a huge thing, and then this defense. They got some draft picks. We will see. We got a long comment over here. Let's get to it. Andrew says, I was at the parking lot of the bar. I was standing next to a Bears fan, and he was all proud and smiling. Then the Bears picked a tight end, and he went from happy and smiling to straight dumbfounded and dejected. His friend, who's a Packers fan, laughed. And I don't think it's not showing that. Let me see if I can find it. His friend, who's a Packers fan, laughed, and he was recording him, I believe, laughing. The Bears fan just walked away, head down. I think the funniest thing is because I think I was at Stadium View, and when someone picked I think it was a wide receiver that everyone thought the Bears wanted, and everyone just cheered and laughed at him. It was awesome. But yeah, the Bears draft, I don't think it matters with the Bears draft. They're not going to be good. The Bears are hot garbage, but yeah, so coming up this week, I'm not sure this week or next week. I'm gonna find a guest that we can break down this whole draft together, and someone smart, like what I mean, that can help us figure out who exactly these players are. But I'm gonna run through real quick. I got it up over here. Who they got? They can go through positions and whatnot. Round 1, pick 23, they got Matthew Golden from Texas, obviously, and then round 2, pick 54, tackle Anthony Belton. North Carolina State. So I think that's good. That's a need, kind of help out that offensive line. We'll see what happens there. At round 3, pick 87, they got wide receiver Savion Williams from TCU. Like I say, I don't know a lot about him right now, but I think working in the mix, round 3, you know what I mean? We will see. I think they kind of put this whole wide receiver group on notice, really, saying, hey, this isn't good enough. And you better step your game up if you want to stay on this team and stay in the depth chart. And that's the thing, too. A lot of these young wide receivers that they got were drafted in the same year within a year or two. So a lot of them, their decisions are going to be made, pay or let them go. So I think that's why they got to keep beefing this wide receiver group up, especially when you draft guys so close together like the Packers did at the same position. You can't keep them all come payday time. You know what I mean? Once that rookie contract runs out. Then pick 4. Round 4, pick 124, defensive line, Baron Sorrell, Texas. He was the one that, everyone kind of emotional. He said, there's a quote right here, it felt great just knowing, but this is where I'm going to be. Yeah, he was emotional. He's talking about what it took for his family to get there. That's the thing about these drafts is like, which is so cool, even if it's not a Packers, is like these guys have worked their whole life, since a kid, worked really hard to get to this level. And this is like their day, and now it's time to get to work, you know what I mean? But shout out to him. Hopefully that works out. So then round 5, pick 159, defensive lineman, Colin Oliver, Oklahoma State. Defensive lineman again. So that defensive line really needs to get pressure. And then round 6, pick 198, defensive line, Warren Brinson from Georgia. And like I say, the defensive line, whether you're talking inside, whether you're talking outside, they have to get pressure on the quarterback. If you can't get pressure on the quarterback, you're not going to win playoff games. You're not going to win more than one, that's for sure. And like you've seen what happened in the Super Bowl with the Chiefs. You can't protect your quarterback, you're not having a good time. Then round 7, pick 237, they got ourselves a quarterback, Micah Robinson from Tulane. And then round 7, pick 250, offensive lineman, John Williams, Cincinnati. And those are your draft picks. Like I say, next week I will have someone on. We'll go through the draft, and we'll have someone smarter than me talk about it, because I'm not going to pretend like I know. I don't watch college like that, but I will check him out, maybe watch a little film, you know what I mean? By that I mean watch YouTube videos. All right, so let's get more comments. Is Jair wanting to restructure legit or just smoke? I don't know if he wants to restructure. I don't know if they talked about whether he would restructure or not. I think that's what they would want him to do. Would he be willing to? That's a question. You know what I mean? That's a good question, and we will see. But that's saying we're after the draft now, right? We got training camp coming up, but we're still at the end of April here, so there's a lot of time for stuff to happen. We're gonna see, like, is Jair gonna be on the team? Is he gonna take a pay cut? What do they have to figure out? Because they could restructure his deal or try to figure it out where it's like off of, if you play this many snaps, if you do this many things, you get this much money. So if he stays healthy and grinds it out, he can make all of his money. But if he gets hurt, then he doesn't, kind of thing. I'm not no cap guru by any means, but we're going to figure this out this offseason. I'm going to bring some people on here that know more than me, and that's what I like to do. You know what I mean? Jason says, stacked at the offensive line position. Jacobs will have some nice lanes. That's the thing, dude. You got to your offensive line. The offensive line and defensive line to me is the most important positions, right? Quarterback is obviously the most important because it doesn't matter if you have a good offensive line if you got Caleb Williams back there or whatever. But offensive line and defensive line is most important. You got to protect the quarterback. You have to get after the other quarterback. I do also want to check out this bracelet I got right here. Someone made this for me. My friend Sam made this for me, and I also got this Green Bay one. I got at training camp. I've been wearing this thing all the time. But big shout out to Sam. I don't want to say her full name because I don't think she wants me to on the internet. But made me this bracelet, out of beads, and I had a little bit of work on that. I like it, you know what I mean? Especially if I ever get hit by a car, they'll know my name. You know what I mean? But yeah. So the draft was a huge success for Green Bay. I think everyone involved should be proud. Big shout out to everyone who's working down there, who helped put this, build it. Right, and now I was down there today. People saw the video I made. They're down there today, tearing that thing down, working. I walked over there, right, because I was like, I'm gonna make a video, show everyone what's going on down by Lambeau Field. And I started walking, and I was like, there's not many people around, just workers. Not a lot of people. Roads are still closed off and whatnot. And everywhere I walk, people are just looking at me. And then one guy stopped me, and he's like, yeah, we don't want you around over here just because we don't want people getting hurt. There's trucks coming in and going. There's all this stuff. So stay on this path, and you can go to the pro shop over here. You can get to the businesses. But they don't really want people walking around. And they were cool. They were super, super nice. But they were just saying, we don't want no one getting hurt because trucks are coming and going, and, they're taking all the stuff out of here. So I get that. So I got my little video where I was allowed to be at, and then I busted out, went to Kroll's. It was funny, though, because or not funny, but interesting. I was at Kroll's, and they were talking about, they didn't make much money over there. Not a lot of people went to Kroll's. Kroll's is a fantastic establishment, by the way. But I think what happened is, everyone was down by Stadium View and Doozies, that type of area, because, that's where the draft exits. And, nobody kind of went that way. So that's a shame for Kroll's. But Kroll's was fantastic. But I get it. Everyone is kind of there for the draft. They're kind of in the draft mode. And Stadium View, that whole area was lit up. But the other side of the stadium, not a lot of people getting after it. You know what I mean? So let's get to another comment. Kyle says, Matt, your merch is awesome. Been a fan for a few years, and your love for the team through social media has been met outside of Wisconsin, where we see you in little old Rhode Island. Go Pack, go. Hey, I appreciate that, Kyle. Dude, yeah, I'm trying to put out some good merch. I was talking to Chat GPT. I was like, hey, you got any ideas for merch? You know what I mean? And my friend, obviously Dakota, he handles all the merch over at Campeche Collective. He does a great job. He handles everything. He gets the designs. I have some ideas. Sometimes he has ideas, and he makes it happen. But every design is from him, except for this one. This is my logo hoodie. That was I forget. I think I paid someone to make that for me a while back, years ago. But yeah, he does a great job. So if you haven't checked out my merch, go to themattramage.com. You can find the links. And also, if you're on Facebook, go subscribe on YouTube. My YouTube is kind of weak. We're trying to build this thing up. But this offseason, draft is done. I'm going to have lots of live streams, lots of content. I'm going to go hard. I feel like the way everyone, approached me at the draft makes me even want to work harder and do more of this stuff because it's so fun. I appreciate everyone. I didn't realize people liked it so much. I feel like the people at the draft, there were as many people that said I love your podcast doesn't equal the amount of listens I get. You know what I mean? But I appreciate everyone because obviously they might be watching on video, they might be listening. I post that stuff all over the place. So but I truly appreciate every single person that supports me, whether it's just liking a video, commenting on a video, or if you buy my merch, whatever. It doesn't have to be about money, but just supporting and even wishing me well. That's awesome. I appreciate that. What kind of role do you see Simmons having? His highlight reel isn't that of just a special team. All right, so that this is a good comment right here. The Packers signed him to a 1-year deal. He was, I think, an 8th overall pick for Arizona. Didn't make it there, but I saw Arizona fans saying that was just because they just had too many, just too many guys, and he just didn't make it. But then I think he was with the Giants, and I don't have any faith in Giants of evaluating talent. They let Barkley go. McKinney was on the Giants, and he's now a Packer. It's a 1-year deal, so that's the thing. It's a 1-year deal. He's in a different defense. Halfley is over here. If he can figure something out, give him a spot, even if it's a rotation. See what happens. Maybe they can find a diamond in the rough right there. Maybe they can. I wouldn't even say in the rough. He's the 8th overall pick. But obviously it hasn't gone the way he wanted to go so far. But I feel like being in his defense, McKinney, who I believe he would know because they were both on the Giants, I think at the same time. I believe so. And then just give him a shot. Put him in position to succeed, and hopefully he does. And if he doesn't, it's a 1-year deal, so they can kind of it's not going to be anything crazy. But the Packers have done it before. They find a guy like Russell Douglas. I think it was kind of that type of player. Guys who were just there. They get them, and then they end up having doing big things. I'm still mad that Russell Douglas got traded. But yeah, I'm hopeful. But yeah, if it doesn't work out, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's a 1-year deal. But I think in the right situation, we'll see. But like you say, I'm not acting like I know this guy. I watched all of his film or whatever, but I just feel like a 1-year deal is a good thing. And they must see something in him that it's worth a shot. And if it works out, woof, what a pickup by the Packers. You're the man, Matt Rampage. Keep up the great work. I appreciate you, Jason. You know what I mean? I appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm going to wrap this thing up, but I will be back. This offseason, we're going to start doing a lot of live streams, like the call-in show, too. I have a call. I'm actually going to save this one. It was a great call. But I got a sound machine coming. I'm going to hook this thing up, and then it'll be easy. I'm going to have sound effects so I can just hit buttons and stuff. I won't get crazy with the sound effects, but it'll be cool for taking voicemail calls. Maybe at some point I can take live calls. I don't like doing live calls because people will just call in who don't like me and just start yelling racist stuff or just something, whatever, just to make, just to ruin my show or whatever. So yeah, I just can't trust it. I don't have a delay button like on the radio, you know what I mean? But we'll get to a few more comments before we wrap this thing up. His athletic ability is undeniable. There you go. What's up, Greg? He says, Matt, the numbers will come. You're getting airtime locally in Green Bay. It's the off season now, and people have other things going. Hang tough. Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. I always say that I appreciate anyone who tunes into me. First of all, there's a lot of people doing what I do, and it is the off season. And but yeah, I don't care if there's 10 people in here. Like right now, we got 319 people watching throughout all the places that I live stream: the YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. I think I'm somewhere else. I don't know. But yeah, I appreciate. We're gonna wrap this thing up. Truly appreciate everyone who said what's up to me at the draft. You made that weekend amazing for me, made me feel like an absolute superstar. You know what I mean? And my ego will never get flexed. You know what I mean? My self-esteem don't work that way. No, I'm just kidding. But all right, so we're going to wrap this thing up. And a big shout out to Known Vandals for the intro, and they're going to play us out. So go Pack, go people, and I appreciate every single one of you tuning in and listening to this. And if you're watching right now and you want to know where the podcast is, The Matt Ramage Show. The Matt Ramage Show. Apple, Spotify, all the places that you listen to podcasts. And if you go to thematramage.com, you can find the links to everything, Facebook, YouTube, podcasts, all the places. And I appreciate y'all. Go Pack, go!
WISCONSIN.
We welcome all of y'all amongst some friends.
WISCONSIN.
Heavy snowfall, blizzards never end.
WISCONSIN.
It's the place we call home, and the tundra begins.
WISCONSIN.